What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Terence Bud Crawford, the WBO welterweight champion of the world. He recently took out David Avanesian, and this is what he had to say. He said, "Oh, at Twin Charlo, I see why you had your pom poms on so heavy. At Errol Spence Jr. is your daddy. So it makes sense now. You should have just said that, man. My bad, EJ, for talking to you, son, like that. Let's keep it on you. I'll take you to the fish fry after I fillet you." Wow. Those are the words of Terence Bud Crawford. And let me counterpunch. I think this is because of what Errol Spence said recently when asked about what he thought of Terence Crawford fighting Jermell Charlo. And of course, Errol Spence said that if he's not fighting me, he's not going to fight Charlo. So that put Terence Crawford into position to say what he said. Because he's like, okay, I didn't know that another man spoke for you. I didn't know that Errol Spence, which is at 147, unified, spoke for the undisputed super welterweight champion like himself. So that's why he was saying that. That explains it. And me counterpunching this whole situation, I don't think that Terence will fight any of these guys as long as Al Heyman has anything to do with it. If Al Heyman doesn't okay it, it's not going to happen. So maybe that's why Errol Spence said what he said about Terence not getting the Jermell Charlo fight before he gets it, because more than likely, people, Al Heyman had already told Errol Spence that first. These fighters, maybe the exception of maybe Adrian Broner, and he's no longer with Premier Boxing Champions, okay? They pretty much regurgitate what Al Heyman has already told them, okay? So if they're saying anything, Al Heyman said it first, okay? So we have to get that out there, all right? And for this Jermell Charlo fight, you may hear him say a lot of stuff about a lot of other fighters, but you did not hear him reply to this particular thing as of yet. Now, we know he has a hand injury, so he can't do anything until he fights Tim Tszyu, so he's out of commission for 2 months anyway. But if you're someone like Terence Crawford that just got out of a binding situation with a promoter that you've been with like forever, you're not going to see the relevance in jumping right back in bed with another promoter or advisor or whatever you want to call Al Heyman. Okay, so for everyone saying that he needs to just join the PBC and fight and this, that, and the other, well, that could eventually give him a fight, but then when? Because we have yet to see Errol Spence and Keith Thurman, and that's 5 years in the making, maybe 6. Because 2017 was a long time ago, people. And he's been chasing Keith Thurman for the longest. Okay? And they were all with Al Heyman. So if that fight's not promised, what makes you think this fight is going to be promised? Okay? You can't go, oh, well, because he's the last belt holder. Well, so was Keith Thurman. Okay? Keith Thurman had the WBC, and Keith Thurman had the WBA. Okay? Errol Spence had the IBF. Okay? But that didn't push any fight to be done for any other reason. So for people saying that, there you go. So I'm not really convinced of that particular route to take for Terence Crawford. But I do think Terence Crawford didn't really help with what he did. I understand why he did what he did. He needed to stay busy. They told him the particulars of a fight this year. He didn't get it this year. So he's fought someone else. I mean, he doesn't have to ask permission for Al Heyman to do anything, and I think people need to understand that. Terence Crawford doesn't bow down or ask or, have to get clearance from anyone at this point. That's the beauty of him and guys like Canelo and this, that, and the other, because they can make their own play. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of the statements of Terence Bud Crawford to Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!